Hello, fellow moms of teens. Today I'm going to talk about why is my teen disrespectful? And many moms out there are talking about how disrespectful their teens are and how they are just fed up with the way their teen is behaving and talking and arguing and yelling, right? And so I would like to help you relieve the struggle of disrespect in your home. And the three things that we'll discuss today are, first defining what disrespect is in your home, right? Because we can get like overwhelmed with disrespect because teens are going to disrespect and you got to start picking your battles, right? And then we're going to talk about why am I bothered so much by the disrespect? So I can start to think, why am I feeling this way? Why is it bothering me? And get clean on, why I'm feeling so terrible and why this is such a struggle. Okay. And then finally, we'll talk about some ways to break the bad habits that your teen may be falling into and that you may be falling into. All right. So let's get in. So first, what is disrespect in your home? Because in every home it's different. And, it's because we have, two parents, possibly one parent that had their own upbringing, right? And we bring it with us what we want to bring and get rid of what we want to get rid of, thinking like how I was raised, right? And maybe we read some books or take on some things that friends are doing. And that becomes our, our rules, and it's based on values and beliefs, right? So I'll give you an example. My friend, she comes from the South, and she was big into yes, sir, no, ma'am. Miss Jackie was my name, and my husband was Mr. Chris. But on the other hand, I wasn't raised that way. My mom let us call her friends Jill, Susie, Barb. And so it was just normal to communicate with adults that way, right? So it's different in every home, right? And when my friend would say no to her children, the kid would come up and be like, hey, mommy, can I have a lollipop? And she would say no. They would just be like, okay, And then my kid would come up and be like, hey, mommy, can I have a lollipop? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, why not? Or, well, they're only 50 cents and you have $2, like there was always a debate, and there was always their ability to kind of come back with what I call now when they're teens arguing, but, just being a part of the decision, right? And in the moment, I know that my friend was thinking this or that, and I was thinking this or that. And, I would question, like, is she doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Or vice versa, right? But one of the things that I really will harp on in my program is that there is no right or wrong. And there just is. It's just different. It's what you choose to do with your family, what's right for your family, and being confident in your decisions and not wavering, right? When you can do that, you will feel much more confident as a mom. And so along the lines of, picking what's disrespect, your teen is going to be entering into a phase of, wanting to push the boundaries more, wanting to get some more control over their own decisions, right? And so they're naturally going to be a little bit more argumentative, a little bit more questioning, inquisitive, right? And you can encourage that or you cannot encourage that, right? But when it comes down to it, you need to decide what battles you're going to fight, right? What is my line in the sand? So in my case, my kids can call me annoying, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I am annoying. I said it 10 times and it was annoying. My kids calling me annoying. Would it be disrespecting someone else's house? Yeah, but I am being annoying, so I'm going to let that one slide, right? And then, but shut up. I will not let you say shut up to me, right? You get off of your game thinking you can call your friends names and say shut up, but you cannot call me names and you cannot say shut up to me, right? And that's a line in the sand where I will be like, no, you have to apologize, right? Or, when you're ready to talk respectfully, come back and we'll talk. So deciding what you want to consider disrespect and what you're gonna, hold your kid accountable for, right? And once you do that, you will at least kind of have some boundaries that your teen will know, how to stay within the lines, okay? And when they do go outside the lines, you just pull them back in, right? Then what we're talking about is, why does it bother me so much? Because I'm getting really frustrated with my teen being disrespectful. So let's identify why it's bothering me so much. One thing I'm thinking is they shouldn't be disrespectful. They shouldn't argue. They shouldn't yell. They shouldn't, call me names. And that's part of the manual that I spoke about in the other video. And, when we think they shouldn't do something and they do it, it's just going to make you more frustrated. You've got to accept that they are doing it, right? And stop thinking that they shouldn't do it, because they are doing it. And then, understand why they're doing it. And one example I have is, my teen was at school and the teacher said, give me your AirPods. I know they were in your ears, and give me your AirPods. And my teen's like, no. And, that's came off as disrespectful, right? So when he came home, he was like, but mom, I didn't have the AirPods in my ears. It wasn't, disrespectful. I was standing up for myself. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, I have taught him to be that kind of person, to stand up for himself. But in this case, when it's an authoritative figure, he needs to know that, first give up the AirPods and then, fight your case. We explained to him that, when I get pulled over for maybe speeding, I'm not going to argue with the policeman right there. I'm going to go to court and argue my case, right? So just understanding that, why are they being disrespectful? And it's, and in this case, I've taught my kid to question and stick up for himself. But there are times that he needs to learn a lesson that, this is how it's supposed to be done, right? So then I want to know, the other reasons why it bothers me is what other people think, right? So in that case, that teacher, I was thinking, that teacher thinks that my kid is disrespectful, right? And they must think I'm teaching them to be disrespectful, right? And so, or, what would they think, when it's happening behind these closed doors, when my kid is maybe explosive? I'm thinking, wow, what would people think about me if they heard my teen, or think about my teen if they heard him, right? And that is not a reason to be bothered by something, right? You need to just understand that this is happening, and it's about accepting that you're going through this experience. Don't worry about what other people think. Other people have other issues in their homes, and just be confident that this is something that you can overcome, right? And not worry about what other people think. Then another thing is the pressure that we feel that we have to hurry up and teach them before they go out into the real world, right? So I'm thinking that my teen needs to learn respect, or else they're going to go out into this real world and, they're not going to be respectful. And so it's my responsibility to hurry up and teach them to be respectful. And so every time they're disrespectful, I'm just on them, right? Well, you need to accept, where they are right now, and understand that right now is what matters. The future, they are going to be in control of. When they're 30, they want to be disrespectful, they can be disrespectful. And they will have their own natural consequences, right? So right now, we're just going to work through it. We're not in a hurry. We're going to let them fall and we're going to teach them lessons. And hopefully they'll be respectful as adults. So there's like some of the things that you might be more bothered about disrespect than you really need to be, right? Just getting clean on some of the reasons why it's bothering you so much can actually help you to relieve some of that, right? When I start to think I don't care what other people think, I just care what my son is going through. When I think about, he's going to turn out to the adult he's going to be, right? I've given him all that I can. I'm doing my best, and he's going to be respectful because he's going to want to keep a job. Then if I can get clean on my reasons of why it's bothering me and why it shouldn't bother me, and more accepting, then I can not be so frustrated all the time. So next we'll get to some tips on, how to handle disrespect that will actually help you in the long run. So one is, when your teen is explosive, remain calm. The first thing you need to do is remain calm, because if you in turn show disrespect and yell back, argue back, that is just teaching them that, disrespect is normal, right? Disrespect is okay. I'm disrespecting you, you're disrespecting me. It's just going to continue down a downward spiral. If you remain calm and you say, listen, when you're ready to be respectful, we'll have a conversation. And then you come back when they're ready to be respectful. And there may be a few, rounds of this where it's like, okay, you're not being respectful. Let's talk when you're respectful. It could take a little bit of time, but just know that each time that you're doing this, you're kind of, burning it into their brain, where it's like you're not rewarding that disrespect and you're not letting it go, and you're going to stop it. And then it'll begin to get, fewer and far between. Another is being respectful. I talked to my teen and I said, I want to be more respectful of you because you're becoming an adult now and you deserve respect, and I want to be more respectful of you. So, if I ever am disrespectful to him, he has the ability to be like, Mom, you're being disrespectful. And although sometimes I really want to freak out and just be like, what are you talking about? I do have to own it when I'm being disrespectful. So the one time I yelled at him to, get the towels off the wood floor, and he said, you're being disrespectful. And I realized it, and I said, you know what, you're right. I yelled because I was frustrated, because it was the 10th time that I was telling you to pick up the towels off the floor, and I should not yell, and I will be more respectful and ask you, please get the towels off the floor. So giving them respect is part of them becoming an adult, right? And the more you can give them respect, the more they will want to give you respect. And this is what it's all about, is wanting them to be the person that they want to be. And, when they do, the final thing I'll say is when they do cross the line, the shut up or calling me names, I require an apology, right? It's just like, you have to apologize. It's not acceptable in my home. And there's, even a consequence on my contract with my team, that if they're disrespectful, I will be not respectful of their wishes, the next time they ask me for something. And that could be, a ride to their friend's house, or to go, pick up a friend, have a sleepover, something that they are asking of me, I'm going to be like, you know what, you weren't respectful, so I'm not going to respect your wishes, right? So we have that kind of in writing and they're aware of it. And so the more I follow through on it, the less disrespect I'm seeing coming from my teens. So, when you're feeling super frustrated about your teen being disrespectful, these are the 3 things that can help you relieve some of the frustration. And that's, defining what you are going to call disrespect, what battles you're going to fight, right? And understanding why it's bothering you so that you can get clean on why is this disrespect making me so frustrated? And then a few tips on, just following through and not letting them be disrespectful and teaching them to change their habits around disrespect. So please continue coming back to learn how to deal with your teen and love your teen, and subscribe and go join the I Love My Teen Facebook group.